This segment is brought to you by Powerade. Pause for power with Powerade. Minute Maid. Real like you're at home. And Dasani. Connect mind and body.
Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. In basketball and the NBA is where we start. The Warriors' problem on the road continued on Monday night after they were trounced 128-83 by the New Orleans Pelicans at the Smoothie King Center. Here are the highlights.
Back on November 4th, the Golden State Warriors sat Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins in a 114-105 loss to the New Orleans Pelicans. After the Warriors got their first road win of the season on Sunday, they sat all those guys again against the Pelicans on Monday. Zion Williamson back after missing 3 games with a foot injury. Gets a dunk, then kicks one out to C.J. McCollum for the 3. Brandon Ingram gets the mid-range jumper to go. He had 13 in the first quarter. New Orleans by 20 early on. And then Jonathan Kuminga, the young fella, rising up off the Jordan Poole miss. And then Poole not missing this time. He had 20 of his 26 points in the first half, but he had 0 rebounds and 0 assists in the ball game. B.I. taking it to the rack right there. He had 20 in the first half as the Pelicans led by 24 at intermission. Here's more from Zion. 9 points, 4 assists, just 23 minutes in this one. He came in averaging 23.5 points a game. Then Ingram knocks down a 3. He was 12 of 19 from the floor, 34 points. And the Pelicans win by 45, their second largest margin of victory in franchise.
The 45-point winning margin by the Pelicans is the second largest in their franchise history. Well, our NBA correspondent, Alistair Albert, joins us now on Zoom. Alistair, welcome.
Hi there, guys. Good night.
All right, so how much can the Pelicans take from this victory when you consider this was against a Warriors team without Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins?
What the guys normally say in sports is you play the teams that are in front of you. You play your schedule and you play the best to your ability. And what the Pelicans did right there was show the level of maturity and composure for what the team that was in front of them. They didn't downplay to a team that didn't have its 4 starters and four main guys. And they played a really good game. Zion Williamson returned to the lineup and played a very strong inside game. Brandon Ingram, of course, continuing to show that he's one of the most underrated players in the league. And they were able to pull out a really good win. Of course, it was a trouncing to the Warriors. Another disappointing loss on a season that has been very disappointing so far for the reigning champions. But you have to give the Pelicans credit. They came in, they played their game, and they won. That's all you could ask for.
Right, and Brandon Ingram, you touched on him just now, season high 34 points. Is this what we expected of Brandon Ingram, and can he keep up this momentum, continue producing for the Pelicans? And if he does so, do we, expect the Pelicans to actually make it all the way?
Definitely. I think, Brandon Ingram has shown, especially last year when, the team kind of got their stride and started to win games and got into the playoffs, that, they, along with Brandon Ingram playing at a really high level, can be a team that everyone needs to really look out for. So, I think, he can do this. He can be, if he can be consistent and kind of produce, score at least 25 points a night thereabouts, and just lead the team, and be one of those consistent forces alongside C.J. McCollum, who came into the team last year. And, we know Zion is in and out of the lineup. So, the team will heavily depend on guys like Brandon Ingram to be there and be one of the cornerstones of production. So, I think it'll be really imperative for the team, and their success this year for Brandon Ingram to continue to play like he did last night. And I think if he can, of course, this team will be very, very difficult to put out in any round in the playoffs.
Yeah, Alistair, a narrative coming out of last night's fixture was the depth of the Pelicans off the bench, 57 points off the bench, and they contributed significantly as well with rebounds and assists and so on. Is this something that could serve them well in the season?
Definitely.
Or how well can it serve them? Because obviously it will, but how well could it push them?
Definitely. I think it's one of these things, all markers of really good teams are not just the starting five. It's guys coming in off the bench and, who continue that production for the guys who start in the game. We're hearing a lot of talk about this young point guard from Puerto Rico, Jose Alvarado, who's becoming a defensive pest. Guys have to kind of look around them really quickly because they don't know what side he's coming from to steal the ball from them. And you have other guys, coming in, who are producing really, really well for a team, who is still coached by a second-year coach, and kind of just feeding into the positivity and discipline that he's trying to gain from his club. The bench production will be really important. We saw that throughout the whole playoffs. The Celtics, the Warriors, in the finals last year, their bench production was really, really key as well to their progression of all the way throughout the playoffs. So definitely, I think the Pelicans bench will have to kind of really step up and be consistent alongside the starters to have any success this season.
Yes, and we're staying with the NBA. The Milwaukee Bucks returned to winning ways on Monday night after they beat the Portland Trail Blazers 119-111 at the Fiserv Forum. We have the highlights.
The Milwaukee Bucks started the season 9-0, but have lost 4 of their last 6. Meanwhile, Damian Lillard sitting this one out for the Portland Trail Blazers, who, after starting 9-3 this season, have lost 3 of 4. Giannis Antetokounmpo looking to put free throw gate from Philadelphia behind him. And in transition, Grayson Allen finds Giannis for the dunk, and then a putback dunk off the Drew Holiday miss. Giannis coming out firing on all cylinders. On the other end, Jeremy Grant, fadeaway jumper in the paint is good, 2 of his 18. And Anthony Simons, the lead scorer when Damian Lillard is out, scored 20 or more for the 6th straight game. He had 29 in this one. Giannis, it is tough to stop him when he gets a full head of steam. The dunk in transition over Yusuf Nurkic. Nurkic may not want to watch the replays on that one. Bucks only led by 2 at halftime, though. In the third, Giannis from beyond the foul line hits the kind roll. And then in transition, off the Serge Ibaka miss. That one practically looked like a pass to Giannis there for the putback dunk. Then off the steal, Giannis is out and running, finishing with a lefty flush. He had 19 of his 37 in the third quarter. He was 16 of 24 from the field. First time in 7 games he's shot above 50% from the floor. And there's a tough one right there that he gets to go, plus the foul. Just the third win in the last 7 games for the Bucks, but they are 9-1 at home after a 119-111 win over the Blazers.
Alistair, Milwaukee with the win improved to 12-4 and 9-1 at home. How are they looking?
Yeah, they're looking really strong, really formidable, and one of the teams I think most people from the preseason said you have to respect. Of course, you look at the Golden State Warriors, who, of course, struggling at this point in the season, not really getting to that point, and the Celtics, who kind of really gave them a little bit of a run for their money in the finals last year. And a lot of people are saying the next team you really do need to look out for, apart from any other teams in the West, are the Milwaukee Bucks coming out of the East. A team who was Chris Middleton away from getting to the finals after they played a Game 7 against the Celtics last year. So, yeah, they're looking really strong. Giannis Antetokounmpo, of course, is just doing his thing. He's an MVP. He had this little incident with Montrezl Harrell last Friday at the Philadelphia Arena, where he was just wanting to practice his free throws after some horrid shooting from the line. And, he was just trying to put in the work to try to be better at his game. And as we can see, Giannis is all round. He's scoring. He's dominant. No one can really stop him when he gets downhill. And, he's the leader of this team. And he's the one, that kind of gets this team rolling and running to the efficiency that they do in terms of wins and everything. So, yeah, they're looking strong. As long as Giannis is putting up the numbers that he has and dunking on guys like the way he is and not being afraid, the Bucks will have a really deep season going into the postseason, probably even make it to the finals and be the representative for the East.
Well, speaking after the game, Milwaukee Bucks head coach Mike Budenholzer says the league needs to protect Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is what he said. I just think sometimes the hits that Giannis is taking, the league needs to look at. The league needs to protect him. It's not just him. Anybody takes those hits. The league needs to protect players. Alistair, what's your take on what Mike Budenholzer has to say and, the importance of Giannis to this team?
I think what Mike Budenholzer is seeing there, he's seeing the importance of health. And not just, like he said, it's not just Giannis. And of course, he will be focusing on his main guy, his best player. But, health is having a really dramatic impact on all teams for the last 2 to 3 years. If your star player is injured or continuously injured, it's going to be a problem. And Giannis, the way he plays, we know he's not a terrific outside shooter. Most of his game and most of the percentage of his points comes from inside the paint and, posting up and dunking on guys, Euro stepping, getting in and everything. And because of his length, his reach, his power, the fact that he's just bigger, stronger, faster than everyone, a lot of guys are just resorting to hacking him. And because he's not shooting really good from the free throw line, guys are wanting him to go to the free throw line to kind of make those points. So Mike Budenholzer, the coach, of course, is airing a very significant point. The way Giannis plays kind of leaves him susceptible to being fouled quite a bit and getting some really hard fouls. So, he's definitely right for calling it out. But Giannis, he is the way he is, and he's going to continue to go head on into the zone, and everyone else will just have to look out and try to stop him if they can.
Yeah, and I also think by him calling it out, it just shows from very early in the season that he recognizes he needs Giannis at his best for the playoffs if, the Milwaukee Bucks are to contend for the title. So, of course, he's putting it out from now to ensure that he protects his prized possession.
Definitely. It's a long season. We're just 18 games in, and, he wants to make sure that Giannis will kind of get through the whole season, like you said. And, he's on the MVP pace right now. He's 7th in the league in scoring, 3rd in rebounding, very dominant, like we said, and we continue to say about Giannis every year. And, you just want to make sure that he's on the court. He's one of the guys who prides himself on being on the court very often to kind of help his team win. So, yeah, Mike Budenholzer, any coach who coaches that guy will want to make sure he's on the court as much as possible.
Well, Alistair, thank you so much for joining us. We always welcome your NBA insight, and we'll chat again very soon.
Thank you very much. See you guys soon.
Yeah, Alistair Albert there, our NBA analyst, and of course, he's an expert on all things NBA. These are the full results from Thursday. Oh, we don't have the full results.
Yeah, a good point that he just made there, Mariah, about Budenholzer keen on the health of his team, because he knows how important Giannis is to the Bucks and their path to the championship. And he already missed 3 games this season. Chris Middleton is out with a wrist injury since the start of the season. So his players and the injury issue is up and center in his mind.
Even Steve Kerr, very smart move to put Clay and Steph and everybody on the bench, because you don't need to fight hard every game.
That's
you need to play
regular
smart.
Season.
Yeah, let's take the results now. We have them ready just for you. Okay, so Cavaliers, Pacers, Bulls, Bucks, Timberwolves, Pelicans, all picking up wins, and I lost the results right there. All right, let's give them a minute. Yeah, so we speak about the importance, Lance.
Yes.
Look, we have it back. The Knicks and the Clippers all grabbing wins last night. So
the two conference leaders lost last night as well.
Yeah, those are the results, and of course, remind you that the NBA lives on your home of champions. We'll continue to bring you the very best of the action. Let's take a quick break and come back.
Brought to you by Powerade. Pause for power with Powerade. Minute Maid. Real like you're at home. And Dasani. Connect mind and body.